What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Play Like a Bouse. In the first episode of this mini-series, I'm going to be covering my go-to methods for leveling up Warframes in gear. Now before we start, I want to let you guys know that these are not the only ways to level things in Warframe. There are plenty of strategies out there, but these are the few that I find to be most reliable and that I use on a daily basis. Now I've decided to split up my methods into multiple videos because I feel like you guys really enjoy, for the most part, how I go so in-depth into things. And if I were to do all that for the methods that I wanted to cover, I think it'd be a really long, overwhelming video. So I went ahead and I wanted to put these into more bite-sized chunks for you guys. So that being said, let's move on to our first method. This first strategy is fairly simple and revolves around gaining stealth kill affinity, which has an awesome multiplier for each consecutive stealth kill. For this method, you'll need only yourself and one other person, but you can have up to a full party. I usually use this method to level up weapons because in order to be really effective, both players will need to play a frame that has invisibility powers. For this, I highly recommend a Loki build like this one, but if you're an Asher or Vara fan, you can make those frames work as well. Next up, the person doing all the work in gaining the affinity for the party will need a weapon. I prefer using the Orthos Prime because of its range and reliability, and the build I use looks like this. Note that the other person not killing enemies can bring whatever they want to level. That's kind of the whole point of this thing. Lastly, you'll need to choose a fairly high-level exterminate mission. For this, I usually use Ludai on Ceres as it provides me with an adequate amount of affinity, but there are plenty of other options out there, a lot of different exterminate missions in the game. Now, the footage you're seeing right now is from the Leech's perspective, and their job is to simply follow around the person doing the damage in order to gain the stealth affinity. Just make sure to stay within 50 meters so you actually get the XP from kills. If you get any further away, you'll stop getting the experience points for the kills. Next up, I've put together some footage of how to actually play the damage dealer. If you're using Orthos Prime, just slide melee everywhere, and you'll be able to kill most things in one slide attack, which will trigger the stealth melee multiplier. If you come up on some tougher enemies like Bombards, don't take any chances and perform a stealth finisher on them to make sure they go down in one hit. You can do this by just going up behind them and pressing the E button. This method takes a bit of practice to be able to do well, but if you can get it down, this is a fairly good way to get one weapon from level 0 to 30 in one mission without a lot of gear requirements or a lot of party members. Now, this method is really great, but it does have some downsides. For example, if you aren't careful and get seen, you'll alert quite a few enemies in your area, and you won't be able to stealth kill them. Just be sure to hide before refreshing your invisibility, and you should be okay. Also, try not to bump into any targets, as they become alert and can't be stealth killed. Lastly, keep in mind that the consistency of this method is slightly volatile, as with exterminate missions, you'll get a different number of enemy spawns each mission, which in turn can affect how much affinity you gain, since more enemies means more potential XP. Additionally, you can also run into what are called fire tiles, where there's fire on the ground, and the enemies will be in a constant state of alert, making it pretty much impossible for you to get stealth kills on them. And, really, that's pretty much it, guys. Just remember to not get seen, bring a weapon that can kill enemies in one hit, and keep your stealth multiplier racked up. I really appreciate you guys watching this. I hope you like this short episodic thing, where I take you through a couple different methods to do things. I feel like it's a little more bite-sized, a little easier to get all the information there, and then you can just watch the different videos for whatever method you're most interested in, instead of trying to sift through an entire video. But I appreciate you guys watching, guys. This has been another episode of Play Like a Bouse. Again, I'm BouseFeenux, and I can't wait to see you at the next video. Have a good one, guys.